Let's go to number one, which I think if you've done process of elimination here, everyone knows who number one is, and rightfully so. The team that is the two-time defending national champions here, Georgia, back-to-back national titles. Everyone wants to know, can they pull off the three-peat? Well, everybody's starting with that schedule, and when you look at that schedule, boy, it's there's a lot of reason to think they can pull off that three-peat because it's not great. Although I will do this, and this will transition in a second into our next thing here. But everybody picks on Georgia's schedule, but I'll tell you one thing: you look at Michigan's schedule, which we may talk about here in a minute. It's not exactly pretty either when it comes to the potential to find losses, but I mean, what do you say about Georgia? Certainly, they're going to make a change at quarterback. I thought it was funny, Brian. We mentioned before we started recording, you're going to talk about Carson Beck in a second, the Heisman odds. That was one of my bold predictions this year for Georgia. I said I think Carson Beck gets to New York as one of the Heisman finalists. I think it's very possible, and the reason why is because of one of the reasons why Georgia is sitting right here. You mentioned earlier. Think about the guys they've added to the mix from the SEC and the two receivers, Ra Thomas, Dominic Levitt. They've got Lad McConkey there, and they've got, of course, Brock Bowers, who is someone else that I think a lot of people are trying to figure out a way to get him into the Heisman conversation. He's just unbelievable, as we know. I mean, defensively, it's a Kirby Smart team. You know what to expect. They're loaded again from top to bottom, this Georgia team. And like I said, the schedule sets up so nicely that I don't know how anyone couldn't put them at one right now. So,
Yep. Yep. I agree on all of that. And, unless, Devin Leary just comes to Athens and lights it up,
yeah.
or we get some Jordan Hare craziness when they go to the Plains September 30th, I just really don't see anybody um, hanging with them at all until they go to Knoxville. Now, the Ole Miss game, they are a 19.5 point favorite. The Florida game, they're anywhere from 21.5 to 22. At Auburn, they're 18.5. South Carolina, they're minus 24. So, I mean, the Tennessee game, where they're -8, is their only game where they are a single digit favorite. Or actually, it's the only one where they're less than 18.5. I
Yeah.
mean, that tells you all you need. And Ole Miss is a good football team, and they are 19.5 point underdog going to Athens. But yeah, I made a play on Carson Beck at 25 to 1 to win the Heisman. So we haven't seen him much, but he was very highly recruited. He's got great size. I know it's been a small sample size and pretty much all mop up duty, but he stands tall in the pocket. He's got a good arm. So just the small snippets I've seen him, I've been very impressed. And I think Georgia fans will tell you they feel good about all three quarterbacks, and that being Brock Vandegrift and Gunnar Stockton. So, I mean, the only real weakness that we can point to is a lack of experience at quarterback. But again, that's my Heisman pick. I mean, my thought process with the Heisman pick is just, I mean, if we're November 18th and they're going to Tennessee for a spotlight game and they're undefeated with nothing but double-digit wins, if the quarterback plays good at Tennessee and then in another spotlight game in Atlanta 2 weeks later, he's got to be in the conversation, right?
Yeah.
Assuming if they were, to stay undefeated. So come that November 18th, I'll be happy to have a 25 to 1 ticket on Carson Beck. I think. I mean, I'm not saying he definitely wins it by any means, but that's my thinking on that play. Again, like I give Tennessee a chance in that game, especially if Joe Milton is playing really well. But we're a lot of ankle injuries and torn ACLs away from that one, so I'll hold off on calling that to be an outright upset. But that could be, and then the game in Atlanta, the SEC game. Well, assuming they get past Tennessee. Those would be their toughest. But it looks like another fantastic season for Kirby Smart and the Georgia Bulldogs.